Before I introduce our speaker, I would like to offer this logistical reminder. Please complete and return the evaluation forms to the room host. That would be moi or Stacy, because your feedback is greatly valued. We are here this afternoon to talk about incredibly useful free web tools to maximize your training mission. If that's not what you're here to talk about, you're in the wrong room. Please find the right room. We'd be delighted to have you stay, but that's what we're talking about today. Many folks are familiar with Gmail, LinkedIn, Yahoo. They're free services that make life easier and more convenient. But there are literally thousands of other web tools that can be used to run your training department or training houses more effectively and use your scarce dollars more efficiently. This workshop session will highlight several of these innovative internet sites. Our speaker today is Jan Newmiller-Bustad, darn close. She's the president of Creative Mind Consulting, a firm dedicated to helping organizations use web-based and social media tools to create innovative customer-focused cultures. Jane has an extensive background in social media and Web 2.0 technology, marketing, training design, and presentations. Her involvement with ASTD started in 1990 with the San Antonio chapter, and she joined the Twin Cities chapter after moving to Minnesota in 1997. Jane is the Director of Interactive Communications for the chapter. Jane holds a degree from the University of Illinois and has become a passionate hockey fan since arriving in the Twin Cities. Wow!
That's right. Oh wow, they're here tonight.
And welcome, Jane! Yay!
A couple of caveats just before we get started. I know there's just a ton of great stuff going on at the conference today, and I know some of you are going to want to leave a little early, and that's perfectly okay. Hopefully not all of you will. My contact information is at the bottom of the handout, so feel free to call or email if you have any questions. We can only barely scratch the surface today because there's so much cool information out there and so many useful websites. So if you have a specific question on a topic or an area that we're not covering today, again, feel free to give me a buzz and we'll see what we can find. We're also not going to do a whole lot of talking. We're not going to do any talking today, actually, about really in-depth e-learning. If you're looking for real substantive information on e-learning tools, I know there are a couple of other sessions here at the conference that maybe will give you a little bit more of that depth of information that you're looking for. So just kind of highlight it. So what I'd like to do before we kind of jump into the overheads here is to find out what are some of the issues and needs that you have, some of the things that intrigue you about the presentation, some things that you're hoping to take away from today's session. And I'm really slightly more of a facilitator than a trainer, so I love that interactive hands-on. And we have a flip chart to my delight. So tell me a little bit about what you're looking for today.
Free.
Target that.
Free is good.
Free is good. Okay. A lot of free stuff. Well, I like that.
Something to use with our already on our e-learning tools we already have. So
tie with e-learning tools. Again, might not go too deep with that, but we can look at that.
Online facilitation type tool?
Maybe a little. I have one that I'm thinking of that I'll try to highlight for that.
Something that's easily accessible.
Ooh, I love that. I'm a huge Web 2.0 fan. I don't do much on the desktop anymore.
Something that can be used with video conference.
Say that again?
Something that can be used with video conference.
Ah, video conference. I have several resources for you. Another?
Inexpensive learning management.
I have a couple of LMS tools. I don't do a lot with them, but I'll give you the information that I have. Yes.
Addressing security issues, explain to your IT department why you need to do this, especially if you work for a bank.
I may not be able to help you. That is a real challenge. And being able to access information in the cloud, if you will, is definitely a challenge. And if we don't talk about it in the session, catch me afterwards or give me a buzz and we can talk about some strategies to do that. Because there's other people out there that have written on that and have talked about that who have more expertise than I do. There are some real concerns, but there are also some ways to make that happen. Good. Any others?
Collaboration.
Collaboration, like?
When it comes to crafting documents and things, you just being able to work, a little bit more seamlessly in real time on the same, whether it's a presentation or an actual
Right.
training or whatever it might be.
I have a couple that I'll try to highlight, and I also have a couple others that I'm thinking of that, again, if we don't get to them today, give me a buzz and I'll see what I can come up with.
You, in regards to the collaboration tools, those are asynchronous, so you're doing them, there's a lot of documents type of thing, I'm looking at asynchronous type.
Yeah, the ones that I'm thinking of do have that ability where you can, edit the document in not real time. I can look at it
Yes.
right now, you can look at it a half an hour from now, someone else can
Yeah,
look
we
at
have
it. Yeah.
that, but in terms of sharing at the same time.
Oh, the synchronous? I think so. The ones that I'm thinking of, and again, I'll highlight those and we can talk afterwards. It's not quite what they're looking for. Yes, ma'am?
Blogs or group sharing where
Yes.
people are using perhaps, I don't know, like the games and the graphics and the different things that they're using and what's working and what's new and what they're learning now.
I have some information on blogging, which would apply to group sharing. Again, if I'm not specific enough, probe a little bit and we'll see if we get there. One more? Any others? Bertie, Gertrude? Say again? I have one graphics tool that I'll recommend that may or may not. Well, I have two potential tools that I can recommend.
What about music in the same realm?
YouTube? I don't do a whole lot with music. We can talk a little bit about my I don't want to say expertise, but my experience would be a little bit more around do's and don'ts. Who asked about music? Again, when we talk a little bit about the graphics, probe a little bit and we'll see, because really my big concern on that would be copyright. Are you using copyrighted material and using it appropriately? Great, I love it. Okay, so there are a ton of great tools out there. And so what I've done for today's session, because we don't have a ton of time, is to sort of break them into these 4 different areas. Really, the first one I'm going to do is to talk a fair amount about project management tools. There's also some collaboration features in there that I think are very useful, because almost anyone in here is going to be involved in managing a project. And for some of us, it's just not our most favorite thing to do. All those little details kind of escape, don't they? So we'll talk a little bit about that planning and organizing aspect of your training mission, your training department, your training business. Then we'll talk about communication tools. I have some recommendations for newsletters, which are a great communication vehicle if you are reaching out internally or externally. Talk a little bit about blogging, on some collaboration tools there. Then we'll talk about some content development pieces. Not as much, again, we'd have to spend some time on specifics, but I do have a graphics tool that I can recommend, and also OpenOffice, which is what you're watching right now, which is the free equivalent of Office, and I love it and it works really, really well. And then I have a little bit on training. There are a couple of LMS tools that are available that I was able to find. I haven't personally used them, so I will just put that as a caveat up front. And some of them look a little easier to use than others, but your actual mileage may vary. So we'll cover those toward the very end of the session. So some of this will be a little bit on the overhead, and some of this will actually be hands-on. We'll go onto the net and take a look at those tools themselves. So I will sit, I'll be a little bit lower. From the planning and organizing standpoint, I pulled together some of these project management tools. I've actually broken them into 2 groupings. This is what I would call the free tools. Now there are some caveats with that. Quite often, when you are in the world of Web 2.0, free sometimes has big quotation marks around it, and I will try to highlight for you when free really means free versus introductory. So there are a number of tools that offer smaller plans that are free, and for more elaborate plans or more users or more information, there are charges. So for some of you, it may be larger organizations that may be less useful. On the other hand, you could run a very robust, you could pick from a menu of these tools and probably anywhere from $100 to $500 a month, you could have some really incredible, robust tools at your fingertips. And so again, you know best what your budgeting parameters are, and you'd be able to decide. But at least I